Hello and welcome to Inside Carrington. I'm Liam Bradford, flying solo today in between Christmas and New Year. I hope you had a wonderful big day, and with New Year just around the corner, felt like a perfect time to look back on what's been an incredibly busy couple of months of Inside Carrington podcasts. It all started back in early November when we were joined by Director of Football, Jason Wilcox.
Jason Wilcox, welcome to Inside Carrington. Thank you for joining us this morning, because I think that everybody else is off today and you have kindly come in. Is that true?
Yep.
See, going above and beyond. Thank you very much for being with us. Tell us what a day-to-day looks like for Jason Wilcox.
Yeah, I mean, so when I think about the departments that come under me, the academy would come under me.
You just obviously...
Just appointed Stephen Torpey,
yeah.
It will be a great appointment for us. The women's team would come underneath me, but to give them the amount of support possible, they're currently going into Colette, but I would support Mark from a technical perspective. I have recruitment, Chris Favell. I would have operations, so the whole operation, travel, logistics, kit, all of those things. And medicine, Sam Erith, so all the performance areas. So it's like the breadth of the role is huge. You know, I'm ultimately accountable for it, but I have an amazing team that lead their areas, and like I said, the changes in the staffing, the structures, they need to be really clear in order for us to function properly. Everyone needs accountability, and I felt we needed new energy, new ideas to push us forward. And I think, you know, like I say, the pressure is a privilege to try and get Man United back to where it was many years ago is something that I just feel extremely lucky. And we've got to deliver now. You know, we can't just keep talking about it. It's going to be people have to be patient, but we are going in the right direction, I feel. And, you know, at the heart of it is our people. You know, it's really important that we sort of, I have a saying, feel like a family, perform like a team. And if we can feel like a family and create this atmosphere where we are able to have honest conversations, we're able to give feedback, we're able to have new ideas, no one gets offended. This is the environment that we're trying to create.
I've got two questions. One's a little bit daft and one's a little bit more important. The daft one is, how many times have you got to charge your phone every day? Because the amount of work that you get through, the amount of phone calls and emails that you must have to answer, do you constantly carry around a cable with you?
Yeah, I mean, the phones, it's, I think anybody in this role, you know, you get a lot of phone calls, a lot of messages from agents that are pushing players. It's part of the job. I think when I go home, there are times when I forget to leave my phone downstairs and it's at the side of the bed and it's pinging all night, but it's not good practice. You've got to try and
I've just
get
heard
away
it pinging
from it.
it was on silent there, vibrate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was ringing loads. I was like, that's Jason's phone.
Yeah.
You're a man in demand.
Especially around the transfer windows, really now. I know we have certain blocks where it's, you know, in the summer and in winter, but really we're working on recruitment year round. You know, we're thinking about it constantly, thinking about the squad, thinking about which players' contracts will be starting to come to an end, and it's the planning is really important. You know, it's really important that we're on top of things. And in the summer, we were, for all the players that we signed, there were big clubs wanting to sign them, and you know they shut out all the other clubs because they wanted to come to Man United. And
without European football as well, there's got to be no other club in the world that can happen to. Phil, would you agree?
People don't realise, and I say this all the time, when, you know, obviously over the last few years we've had our troubles, sticky patches, whatever you want to call it, but for people to turn around and say that people don't want to come to Man United is the biggest lie of them all, because it's Man United, it's the biggest club in the world. Trust me, when United come calling, you come, and it's as simple as that.
It does something really strange. I never felt like I was ever going to be connected to a club as quickly as this, and same for my family. And it's really hard to articulate, you know, the size of the place. When we go and speak to players, it makes the job easier in a way, because you know that when Man United are coming calling, that they do want to come. but it's really important that they feel the football project, that they know that the club is moving forward and the articulating the vision. This is really important for Ruben to articulate the vision and then believe in the manager and his plan and who he is as a guy. It's really important. So it's an all-round thing. It's not just it's Man United. It's about the future of Man United and what that looks like. And they're ambitious. The players, they want to win and they want to be part of it, and they want to be part of the group that turns things around. And I think we can beat anyone on our day. But it's about this consistency, and sometimes you look at the other clubs that are a bit further on their journey. They've got more depth, and we need to get to that. And it's very exciting. I think the next couple of years we're going to see where we are.
Here on Inside Carrington, we aim to bring you closer to the football club that you love, and that includes our brilliant women's team. They're going great guns at the end of 2025. That means that we get the opportunity to catch up with important people, like the Director of Football, Matt Johnson.
Hi Matt, how are
Hello.
you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
As I said before, you are Director of Women's Football. Firstly, tell us what that role entails.
Yeah, for me, it's overseeing the women's programme at Manchester United. And yeah, it has two main parts really. On the pitch, which is like the sporting director element of the role, where you're looking after the recruitment, the training environment, the playing philosophy, working with the manager, etc. So very much like a tracksuit sporting director. And the other half then is working within the club around sort of the sustainable and the business element of the role. So that would be around the commercial and sponsorship, the marketing and the media, and then like the ticket sales to enable that we've got the economic environment that can sustain a good team on the pitch. So yeah, it oversees both, half tracksuit, half suit, half boardroom, half pitch.
You've come from a background as well, haven't you, of coaching. So do you prefer the tracksuit or do you prefer the businessman?
Yeah, it's a good question in that probably I've been involved in women's football a long time. So played as a kid playing football, was at Derby County within their youth programmes up to the age of 16, and then got released and went into semi-pro football. But obviously playing semi-pro football needed sort of a career alongside that. So got into coaching and then into sports development. And then ended up working on the business sides of like charitable organisations, Sport England, Greater Sport, places like that. So always had this dual career where I've like never specialised at one thing, but been on the grass doing my licence badges. I've been in the back room doing strategy, running small charities, learning how you do accountancy and business. So in a way, it's been great training for this role because it means I've not been blinkered down one. I've got a rounded skill set that hopefully allows me to manoeuvre within this function of this job, really.
And similar to last week with Jason Wilcox, you have another connection to Blackburn Rovers. We don't just bring Blackburn Rovers peoples on Phil, because you started there at the Centre of Excellence. How many years ago was that?
Oh, it was probably about 10, 11 years ago. And I had, good 5-6 years at Blackburn Rovers. Really enjoyed my time there, actually.
But that still wasn't, women's football wasn't where it is now, even only 10 years ago, which is crazy to think about that. What has developed since your time, for example, at Blackburn to now? In academy football, yeah.
Yeah, I think academy football now is probably getting more and more professional. Back in the time when I was at Blackburn, we had a really good programme, but we basically trained twice a week for a couple of hours each night, so 4 hours training, and then you would play on a Saturday or a Sunday against other academy teams in there. And we did really well, like people like Kira Walsh, Georgia Stanway, we signed and we developed and trained at the time, now are major lionesses, so did really well. Compare that to now where the girls are training at least 3 to 4 days a week. They've got professional staff full time, not just casual. Like our under 21s, they're training 4 to 5 times a week. They're playing in a national league. They're staffing a full time, and basically they get everything in terms of like resources that the first team do. So they'll have a nutritionist, they get analysts, they've got all the tech stuff. So yeah, from where it's gone from being what I would say very good amateur level to now more professionalised.
They've got a real chance of getting through in the league phase of that competition as well, haven't they? They're flying high at the top of the league.
Yeah, 21's our academy girls programme for a long period of time has been really, really successful. It's produced some really good teams and done well in like FA Youth Cups. And we're starting to see the benefit of that now with some of our younger players coming through into our first team. and a lot of them are now out on loan and doing really well. So yeah, this Manchester United, developing young players is what we do, is what we need to do. So yeah, it's good to see they're doing really well. They have qualified to the next phase, so it means that you're playing against the better teams more regularly. And that's the important thing. It's not necessarily always winning the trophies at 21s, but it's giving the players those opportunities to play against the best players regularly, because that will improve them more. So yeah, there's been a really good first half of the season for the 21s.
It's exciting.
And obviously, just talking about academy football, obviously the men's team here have that incredible record that we know. How important is it for you to have similar pathways for the girls coming through the academy into the first team here?
Yeah, no, it's really important. I think that's part of the Manchester United DNA. And as we're one big family club, it's important that we adopt that. And we're really proud of the fact that actually, like the men, since it was reincepted back in 2018, we've always had a homegrown youth player, not only within our matchday squad like the men's team, but within our starting 11. A lot of them appearances are by people like Ella Tu, Millie Turner, Gabby George, Katie Zellum in the past. But yeah, we've had some really good youth players who are integral to our first team squad. So yeah, we can go one step better and say that, yeah, our starting 11's always had a homegrown young player in its starting 11.
Inside Carrington is brought to you by United Store, where you can shop the biggest selection of festive United gifts. Kick off the holiday season with United Store. 100% official, 100% United. One giant source of pride here is our academy. There has been an academy graduate in the first team matchday squad every single game since 1937, an absolutely incredible record. Recently on the podcast, we were joined by the under-21s league coach Travis Binnion and the director of the academy, Stephen Torpey. Here's what they had to say.
Stephen, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. It's fantastic to have you. Still new to your job, only 2 months in. First question is, how are you finding things?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I think what a place to work and come into every day. You know, the energy's high. It's a vibrant place. It's an academy that's obviously got its rich history, and I'm really privileged and proud to be walking here every single day into Carrington, and yeah, just loving life at the moment.
When the sun's shining, there's no better place, is there?
Absolutely. I mean, a training ground with the weather in, the sun shining, less wind. I mean, every training setup I've ever worked in has always had a wind turbine that's somewhere nearby. But at the moment we can take the weather, and it's lovely. And
obviously, Stephen, you've seen all the new facilities. What have you made of the change that's been made here?
I mean, I haven't seen it any different. I mean, over the years being, coming here as an opponent and in the opposition and coming to Carrington on many occasions, but from a working perspective, walking into the new first team building, it's world class. It's the standards, and it's pristine in the way it's been put together, and it's been designed in a way that means that we can deliver a high performance, every single day. And yeah, from an academy perspective, we've also got very good facilities, and in the future we're looking to improve those even further.
Tell us a little bit about your career in football that brought you to this point, because obviously you played as well as coached. So where have you been and what have you football.
Well, how long have we got?
A while. It's a podcast. We can keep talking.
No, I've been in football pretty much all my life. From a child, wanting to be a professional footballer. I was in the academy system back then. Would have been a centre of excellence, but it then changed halfway through my journey to an academy system. I was very fortunate to represent my country at youth level. I went to the FA National School, so I had some exposure to elite environments and some amazing people there. Some of my teammates are still friends to this day, so we've got some unbelievable sort of stories to tell. And as you can imagine, you're smiling and laughing there because you know where I'm going with that. But that was an incredible moment for me. But ultimately, as a young professional, I played at Liverpool at the time, and I was out the game at 19. So I went from an England schoolboy at 16 to being out of work, no career at 19 years of age. And the FA National School, Lilleshall, was the location where I was living. And then 3 years later, I was there at the exit trials. So it was a complete contrast of my career. And then I didn't know what to do next. So football was my life. What do I do? I'd done my coaching qualifications as part of my scholarship and fell into coaching ultimately. But it's the best thing I ever did. 25 years ago, that was the case. You can all work my age out now and tell me how old I am. But that was important for me, and I've been a coach ever since. I've been fortunate enough to work at some amazing environments in terms of youth. So I was a coach at Liverpool whilst also trying to play part-time at that moment in non-league. With a range of clubs, as you do, sort of journeyman non-league career. But yeah, I worked in a range of coaching roles at Liverpool, and then I spent close to a decade in Manchester City. Most recently moving on as Academy Director of Brentford, before then joining here at Manchester United. And I just feel like those experiences, the people I rub shoulders with, what I do is I have my ears open, I listen, I'll ask question after question, and I work hard. So that's given me 17 years now in academy football as a coach, and working from the pre-academy all the way through to the senior sort of side of youth football around that 21s age group. And yeah, I feel privileged to have been around, amazing people, and I'm learning every day, and I still do that, whilst hopefully trying to give a bit back now to the staff teams that I work with here at Manchester United.
As you mentioned there, over 20 years experience in academies and coaching, that's absolutely incredible. And now it's taken you right to the creme, the best academy, we like to say, in the country, in the world. And you know what this job comes with, the responsibility of it. Will you enjoy that pressure, do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't join a club like Manchester United if you don't embrace pressure, and you see the pressure as a privilege, and it gets used a lot. The thing that stimulates me is wanting to be the best at something, and doing things that have never been done before. So I know this, Manchester United, we've done amazing things in youth, but I feel it's my duty now to continue that. I've heard my predecessor Nick talk about carrying on the baton, and I believe in that. But also, how can we do it in a way that means that we're unique in the way we've done it? I've been very fortunate to have the tours around Old Trafford and Littleton Road and the Cliff, and realise the heritage, And I've got to thank Jason Leach for taking me around and showing me the ropes on that. What it made me realise was this club's been built on innovation and a real belief in youth and a bravery, to implement youth and look after the club really by utilising the youth that we had. And that privilege that I feel like I've got now, and that pressure just comes with that sustainability of that, and creating young players that are ready for first team. We don't want it to be a token gesture that we have players in our first team because we want to keep a tradition going. We want to have players that are ready, that can make impact, that can make our first team better. And most importantly, our fans can be proud of. I genuinely believe that. I've been very fortunate now to watch players I've worked with over the years go on and represent the country, represent the club, win the best trophies. And there's no greater feeling than one of your own stepping out.
Does that feel like a proud parent moment when you've watched them from maybe
absolutely.
6, 7, 8 years old?
Yeah, absolutely. I even this week I had a player that I worked with make his debut for his country, for Portugal this week, and his dad's messaging me and he's messaging me, and I haven't spoke to the boy in say 2 years directly, but you look out for everything. It's like when you look at your former club and you go through, I've played for this club and they've got the result, I wonder how they've done, and you've got a fondness. But for me, there's players luckily that I've worked with over a long period of time, as I explained, that are all over the leagues and Europe and playing at the highest level, and as you say, proud parent moments all the time.
It's got to be a great feeling that now.
Yeah.
Knowing this, that we spoke about it last week, knowing the sacrifices that the players have been on and the journey they've been on to get to that level, and you've obviously guided them and steered them in the right direction and given them the opportunity and the platform to go on and have a great career. And we said that not just if it's not going to be in your first team, it's not going to be here, of course. We'd love them to, and we've always got to show them the route to the first team. That's what this club's been successful doing. But I think giving them, like I said, a platform to then go and have a career in the game. If it's not here, it's somewhere else. And that's obviously what you've done really well.
Inside Carrington is presented by United Store, the official home of exclusive United merchandise. Welcome, Travis. Thank you for joining us on Inside Carrington. It's a real pleasure to have you with us. I suppose the best place for us to start, though, is to tell us your job title and what that entails.
Yeah, so I'm head of player development for the 17s 21. So basically, every player that's left school is in the full-time programme. Along with Stephen Torpey, I'm obviously ultimately responsible for. Within that age range, we've got under 18 side that Colin Fletch and Kevin Wolf lead. But I have to support those guys. The players are quite transient across the two groups and multiple age groups. And then I lead the under 21s side on a daily basis. So yeah, we probably have 35 to 40 players depending on loans across those age groups. A lot of players with the first team, daily. So yeah, there's quite a bit to get through.
Well, thank you for joining us, because as I can hear that you've got a lot on your plate. Because as you say, like, you're in this training ground every day, but you're not also doing that. You're going to games, you know, you're supporting the lads as well. There's a lot to this job. Yeah,
so obviously we've got in excess of 10 players out on loan at the minute. A lot of those boys we hope will come back and feature in the future. Out of sight, but they're not out of mind. So you're just trying to continue their progress and ensure that they know that we're still there for them, and keep a track of them. I just speak to Dennis then just before we came on. Saw Radek last week. So yeah, we've got a lot of good players out of the building at the minute that need to continue to support.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like when you look at some of the players that are out on loan and how well they're doing in those first team environments. Harry Amass with an assist at the weekend, I think, and Radek's obviously doing great things in Bristol. How important is it that you stay across that and make sure that they're sort of doing what you need them to be doing?
It's massive, because there's an opportunity for them to return in a better place. They're the oldest players within sort of our care. But they're not necessarily with us every day, but also coming back and returning to play for the first team, and probably being the most capable ones as well, due to their age and the experiences they've had.
Travis, do you kind of cherry pick what clubs they go to? Because that can be very important as well. Do you look at clubs that want to play football, or you're quite happy to let them go and probably get involved with the physical aspect of it?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. It's on a case-by-case basis. So sometimes with the first loan, the players will be in high demand, so you can cherry pick. You can look at the manager, you can look at the playing style, you can look at the opportunities they're going to get in terms of minutes. Sometimes they don't go so well, the first loan, so the second loan, it's difficult to cherry pick when a first loan's not gone so well. So we try to have really good relationships with the clubs they go to. Of course, we want the playing style or the opportunities they get to be high, but it's a huge case of those lads finding out about themselves when they go out and having to deal with being in the team, being out the team, the manager changing. We've seen that so often. Like, lads have gone on loan. I think one lad's had 3 loans. He's had 6 managers. So I think relationships are key. Speaking to the clubs and the boys throughout that loan, and ensuring that they're on track. And across a month, across 6 weeks, you can see that they're getting the opportunities that they need.
Is there I'm just moving on from that. Once a player has sort of come through your system, do you keep tabs on them? Do you keep an eye out for those that have sort of come through and have moved on? People like Will Fish, for example, who had a great game for Cardiff at the weekend. Yeah, definitely.
So the first goal on Saturday, Harry Amass crossed for Charlie McNeil. Charlie McNeil gets the second goal for them as well. So it's a nice feeling when you see boys that are still with you and doing well, but equally boys that have left the club. You always have an affinity with them, and seeing them do well. Charlie Wellen scored at the weekend for Orient. I think that's the beauty of this, one of the many beauties of this football club, and our affinity with young players. Like the number of players throughout the game that have represented this club is still better than anyone, still has more depth than anyone. And our job fundamentally is, of course, you want to see players run out of Old Trafford, but can a player maximise where their potential will get them to? And whether if that's 500 games in League One and League Two, that's still so hard to do, and still a massive achievement. So maximising their potential, giving them the platform to go and have a long career, and then keeping in touch with them, or seeing them have success, whether that's 3, 4, 10 years since they left you, is a great feeling.
You explained your role there and all the aspects to do with that. How much do you enjoy the responsibility of your job and seeing those players that one day might get to the first team, one day a player might leave the club and go on to make appearances elsewhere? How much do you enjoy that responsibility?
That is the biggest enjoyment of it. So, like you said, Helen, responsibility is the key word. Like parents put their kids in schools, they want the best education. Parents trust us with their son's football development and off-pitch development. It isn't just about on-pitch. Like, you will not last a season or 5 seasons in this game if you cannot manage yourself properly between games. You can't have relationships with people. You can't deal with adversity. So trying to provide those skills and those experiences while they're in the building with us is huge. And then I'll go back to my role. The first part of my role, being responsible for those 40 players, is far more important than me taking the under-21 side tomorrow night against Anderlecht. We have players with the first team, we have players in the 18s, we have 5-6 games in a week, sometimes across 18s, 21s and the first team. So if I or the staff become obsessed with the under-21s games programme, the under-21s fixtures, it's pretty futile, and we'll lose sight of what we are here to do, and that's to help all the players improve and ensure that they reach their maximum potential and provide the first team with what they need on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's the whole development. I'm sure, Dennis, whenever you came to United, you knew those guys that had been through the academy here. Was there something different about them?
Well, I mean, you got to go further back than that, because when I was at Leeds, when I was young, defenders had the basics, really. We didn't have any skills, anything like that, and forwards were always the trickier ones. Fast forward to when I come to United, I was 24 when I joined here. You could see the development of the kids. We had advanced so much in that kind of 5 or 6 years that even I missed out on. But you fast forward now, and it's incredible that you look at full-backs, even centre-halves now, even keepers have to be comfortable on the ball now. I know that's a bone of issue with a lot of people, but the advance. But yeah, I mean, I was fortunate in the fact that, like, within 2, 3, 4 years of me being here, you know, Giggsy had come through. We had the 6 lads coming through. But besides that, there was also a lot of players that kind of were on the edge. You know, David Healy, Robbie Savage, that didn't quite make it here, that went on and had great careers. So it's always been part and parcel of this club that now we've produced young lads. Young kids for the first team, but they've also gone out, and as you said, Travis, it's very important that, because it's so hard to break in here, that they do the best you can to get them up. The foundation of getting them a good career is so hard. What is the big difference between, I mean, you've been in the game now, Travis, for a good number of years. Is it changing all the time? What players need to make a top player?
Profiles are a big thing now, so the game's so tactical, it's so positional. Recruitment is huge in terms of the knowledge around data and the number of players around the world that obviously we're keeping tabs on. But although the game's advanced tactically, the game's getting quicker, players are technical, the skill sets of each position evolve. I don't think you can lose sight of the basics, and that is being a good team player, being hard to play against, being dependable, being resilient, wanting to win, wanting to compete, wanting to work at your game. So these are not tactical things, these are not technical things, these are character traits that you've got to be selectable to be able to perform. So how do we have that edge on our competitors to make sure more of our kids have careers than them? And I can't look past the ability to be selectable, the ability to be dependable every day. And of course, we're going to provide them with a bespoke programme for what they need to get better in their role each day.
There's such a lot going on the pitch across Manchester United that sometimes it's easy to miss the great work that's being done off it. None more so than the Manchester United Foundation, who help younger Reds across Greater Manchester and beyond. So we invited John Shiels down here, he's the Foundation's chief executive, into the press conference room to tell us a little bit more about his role.
John Shiels, MBE, welcome to the Inside Carrington podcast. Pleasure to have you with us, and I think I'm right in saying it's our first guest who has got an MBE.
Oh, very good. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for asking me.
Obviously, everybody knows your name, knows who you are, but they don't know exactly how much work you put into doing what you do every day and how influential you are for the foundation and for this club. So I suppose the best place to start is to tell us exactly your job title and what a day-to-day entails for John Shiels, MBE. I'll not say MBE again. We don't need to say that every time, but I quite like it.
So my job title is CEO of Manchester United Foundation. Actually, I'm part of just an amazing foundation team. There's 110 of us full-time, which is amazing, and about 150 part-time. They generally go out into the Greater Manchester area, and last year we worked with over 40,000 kids trying to be a difference in their lives. My day is it's generally long. It can be 7 days a week, but that's the cause. So you don't work my job, you live my job, really. Luckily for the amount of time I've done it, I just love every day. I love every minute. My working day, that's when I'm part of the team. So I'm always in the office. If I'm not in the office, I'm out. I'm always accessible to the team. And then I do my work before work and after work. So it's constant. And I'm one of the leaders of the foundation. So I've got to look in front all the time. I need to know where we're going in 2, 3, 4 years' time, really. So I try and look forward. I try and get out of the day by looking forward as much as I possibly can.
So as you mentioned that you helped over 40,000 children last year, that's only one of the things that's part of your job. I mean, the amount of things the foundation have done this year alone is incredible, and it is a good time for me to bring up the sleepover,
yes,
which Mr. Wes Brown was involved in and has been before, and I know that you are a great supporter of the foundation, and I'm sure you'll agree with that, John.
Wes is amazing with the foundation. You can't. Can you? Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry, I'll be there. Can you? Yeah, I'll be there. Don't worry. He's amazing.
Does phone, everyone phones me. He's still coming. I'm like, yeah.
He never lets you down ever, and it's authentic. He's such a nice man.
Oh, guys.
Oh, John, that's nice.
It's really cute.
I do try and do as much as I can.
You feel passionate about, Wes?
Yeah, I mean, I did it when we used to play.
Yeah,
and it's just got bigger and bigger. There's lots more that's happening, and obviously when the team phone me and ask if I can do something any particular day, it's like, yeah, that's no problem. Last one was the sleepover, which I got 3 hours out, I think.
I have to say the sleepover, Wes was probably the first in bed. I think Life on the Edge, Friday night, Wes Brown was in bed about 11 o'clock.
That's true, that.
For people who are listening or watching and aren't sure what the sleepover entails, just give us an example of that. I know you do so many events, but because Wes is here.
The sleepover is when we go into the ground inside. We actually sleep on the disability platform, and it's to build awareness of what it's like to be homeless. I have to say, it's a very comfortable sleep out. With the kit that people bring, we could stock 2 go outdoors warehouses. We're not, and the lights stay on. So it's not as scary as it would be if you were if you're in that situation. With the foundation, what we try to do is we try to be preventative rather than cure. So we don't want any of our young people to sleep out, but we need to let people know what it is to sleep. And it's very humbling. So we get people from all over the country, all fans from all over the country. Yeah, it's very humbling, and you understand how privileged you are to be involved with it, really.
Cold, Wes?
It was actually a nice day. We brought everything, and then we didn't have to put much on. Because when you was in your sleeping bag, it gets pretty cosy anyway.
Yeah.
But the ground was hard. I don't know about you, but I remember sleeping on my back was fine, but as soon as you turned, anything that hit the concrete, I was like,
I'll apologise, because you're actually supposed to bring an airbed with you.
No one told me.
You should. Next year when you come,
that's
just
fine.
bring one.
Did everyone else have airbags apart from Wes?
Well, I think
sleeping on cardboard.
I think, yeah.
It was good though, but like I said, if someone does that every night, that's tough, and that's just the truth. And it was good conditions in weather. It wasn't raining. It wasn't too cold.
Like the thing with us, we all went back, got a shower, got into our beds.
Yeah.
If you're homeless, that's not an option.
We always love getting the dressing room insight from Phil Jones. So when we were given the opportunity to speak to former Manchester United captain Rio Ferdinand, we jumped at it. And we started by talking to him about the recent World Cup draw.
Yeah, it was quite a surreal moment. I'll be honest with you. Like you don't ever anticipate, like growing up, you're going to meet the president of America, or you're actually going to address him when you're on stage hosting an event that he's at. So yeah, quite surreal, but a great experience. I think it was. I've watched FIFA draws all my life, really, because you're always wanting England to do well and who we're going to get, where are the other teams, etc. So to be a part of it was really good. Technical, I must say, difficult.
Talk to me about the nerves,
mate. Seriously, like
between the Champions League final or doing the presentation.
Miles ahead in terms of like nerves, because you know what it is. in a Champions League, I'm just doing what I've done for 15, 20 years. So it's kind of, you're nervous, but it's not like, there's a bit of fear, but there was a lot of fear and a lot of nerves with the draw, because it's the unknown and also the technicalities. The fellow who, I forget his name now, who was telling me how to do it and guiding me, he was unreal, brilliant, knew everything. But when I was asking him questions prior to doing the show, his answers were like, maybe give me 2 or 3 points for the answer, and I'm thinking, right, I've got to give that to the crowd and to the millions of people watching in 1, not 2 or 3. So it was quite like nerve-wracking. I was like, until the day we done a rehearsal on the morning of it, until that moment, I was like to my missus, this will go really, 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 really bad.
Rio, obviously you're here today. You've had a little chat with Bruno, I think, this morning. What else is your plan? Have you seen the manager this morning?
Yeah, I see the manager. I see the lads doing a little bit of a session, some abs and stuff like that in there, and working out. I think it's a bit of a down day today. I've come on a terrible day. If you want to go and watch and see what's going on, get a bit of insight behind the scenes. But it's they're just in the gym and just chilling out really. So it was but it's still good. See the lads. I like coming to the training ground. You know that. And not just United. I like going to all training grounds because you get to see what some of the guys are really like from close quarters. Like who's the banter in there, who likes to have a laugh, who's very serious, who takes training seriously. Like those little details, they go a long way into how you form your opinion on someone. So, and without getting behind that curtain, it's difficult sometimes.
You spent bags of time here, obviously, during your career. It's changed a little bit, though, hasn't it?
Wait, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Top.
Like I just had an omelette. It was unreal. It's phenomenal. Everyone.
Mike didn't make him like that.
See, Mike, I love Mike. Mike was like, he's a chef back then. Obviously, things change and it evolves. All the coaches are now new. Loads of staff are different, and there's a turnover of people. But yeah, the staff then were great, and the staff now seem great as well. And it's just they make the people behind the scenes make this place tick. Like the players are obviously a fundamental part of it, but as equally important are the people behind here. Like even Carol, the dinner lady, I still chat to her on a text now. Like there's some people that that are here you see more than your own family. Do you know what I mean? And it's difficult for that not to kind of become and flourish into like a real friendship. So it is weird in a way that I come in as there's only really you that I see that I always saw back then. Yeah. There aren't many others.
It makes me feel really old.
Because that was like 20 years. No, I'm joking. But no, it's so it is weird in that sense. But again, you've got to sometimes understand that business, football clubs do move on, but there's been obviously a lot of news around that type of thing.
But obviously they've moved on to into this beautiful building.
Yes,
and I know you've been here before. What's your impressions of it?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like it's what you want in your front room, innit? You want rooms like this in your house. You know what I mean? There's certain things here that you go, I wouldn't mind that at home in my house if I could. But it's more also that it feels like it flows better. Even the canteen where the players go and the staff go on a Saturday when what day is today? Friday.
It's definitely Saturday.
It's Saturday today.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know what day it was. I mean, I've been travelling so much. So if the youth team are playing, you can watch the youth team from the canteen and eat your food. Whereas before.
Yeah, the layout's perfect.
Perfect for that, yeah. It's really good. It flows really well, so it's good.
Is that something you would have done back in the day? Go out and watch the teens, for example?
Yeah, I love that. I love seeing the young kids. I love that now even. Like my boys are in an academy at Brighton, but I've always been someone that if the kids are playing and I'm walking off and I finished my session, 20 minutes, half an hour, let's watch a half or whatever, always I'd walk over and have a little look and see who the next one's like. I saw the Welbecks before he came for Tom Cleverleys, the Federico Macedas, all of the guys, Jesse. It's great to see that. Do you know what I mean? I used to love that.
From the past to the present now, and we've been really fortunate on Inside Carrington to be joined by 2 members of the current first team squad here at Manchester United, and it was absolutely brilliant. There's plenty more first team players on the way in 2026, but let's find out what happened when we caught up with Senne Lammens and Tom Heaton.
You know the players now. You know, you came here on deadline day. It was all very fast. You're settled in now. Are you enjoying life in Manchester, getting to know your teammates?
Yeah. To be honest, I couldn't have dreamed of a better start at every aspect. Also, the things you see on the pitch as well, but especially next to the pitch, the way I was brought in here. To be honest, when you think the higher the level or the bigger club, the better players there are, maybe you think more of the guys are like more egos, more everyone a little bit about themselves more. But to be honest, it was the other way around. When I came in, everyone was really, really friendly, really, taking me, making me at ease. But still, you have to, I think, perform on the pitch. So it's a double thing in the beginning. They just want to make you feel at home and feel welcome, but then you also have to prove yourself directly, so they can see that they can trust you on the pitch as well. So I think that was probably one of the most important things for me to do, to make my teammates believe in me and trust me.
You and I were here first day of training, weren't we? And saw you running the gauntlet, and everybody stopped. All of the goalkeepers came over. What was that like? Is that just like a feeling of being initiated into the group?
That's something the manager always does. It also, it's a good thing to make you directly feel welcome as well, even though it hurts a little bit at first. But it's very nice. The group is really together, so you could feel it at the first day as well. The way the manager also tries to help the new guys as well to get initiated in the club and in the team.
We've heard you say that you're earning the respect of your teammates. You've certainly earned it from the fans. And I don't know whether you've seen the recent interview with Sir Alex Ferguson when he described your performances as outstanding so far. Were you aware of that, and have you seen it?
I read it somewhere, and at first I couldn't really believe it, to be honest. Such a big name, and especially at this club. So I was a little bit surprised, but it felt really, really good, to be honest. I haven't met him yet, so I'm looking forward to that as well. But coming from him, it's really nice to hear as well. Someone with so much experience and such a big name at this club. It's only good to hear.
Absolutely brilliant to have Tom Heaton, second goalkeeper of this current season that we've had along for the podcast. Thanks very much for coming and spending a bit of time with us, Tom.
No, I'm delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Look, we're going to try and talk a little bit about your time at the club since coming back. I wonder whether we could start with similarities, differences between when you left and when you returned.
Yeah, I think it was an 11 or 12 year gap from leaving to coming back. I think the first thing that was apparent straight away was the size of the football club had grown. You know, it had grown exponentially, really, in every department. It was a real sort of massive wheel of operation, really. So, I think that was the first thing that hit me.
You trained at Littleton Road, I would imagine, and a bit of time at the Cliff potentially. You probably just about moved into Carrington when it first opened. And then you've come back, and whilst you've been here, it's turned into this, and it's incredible, isn't it? This new facility. Yeah, it is. I think it's fitting for the sort of where the club's at and the level of the football club. I think the facilities now sort of fit that mould. Albeit, when we first moved in, I think it had been open a year or so when I started full time, back 2001 time, somewhere around there. So that was the same sort of feeling, really. It felt like it was a real, step to the sort of future, a real good foundation to go and perform from at that time. And again, I think this feels very similar.
Tom, 39 years of age.
Thanks, Ellen.
Sorry to bring that up quite quickly. One of the elder statesmen in the team.
One of.
It's just getting worse, isn't it?
Brilliant.
You must be missing having Johnny around, actually.
No, I honestly, I really am. I'm massively missing Johnny, I have to say. He made me feel a lot better most days.
Well, he's only 38.
I know, but still.
But how does it feel to be that elder statesman in the squad? Do you enjoy that role?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been a sort of naturally grown into it. Admittedly, you say 39 and sort of, I almost fall off my chair when you say it. Really, I don't feel it, which I think is probably why I'm still playing and still here. So I think that's important. But yeah, certainly enjoy that sort of side of it. There's also the old thing of once you're in and amongst Man United first team, doesn't matter if you're 15 or 43. You get treated the same. I think it's really important. I think I can perhaps offer some sort of experience, different footballing experience, different ideas, perhaps guide a few of the younger ones, certainly try to. So yeah, I've sort of naturally tried to mould into that role,
as time has gone on.
I don't think you probably appreciate how much you are appreciated by the squad. Is that fair to say? Phil, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't want to embarrass.
No, but I think it's important to say. You know, you're a very humble guy, but Phil,
I
you
think
would
what
agree
I
with
will
that?
say is Tom sort of epitomises what Man United is all about. He understands the club, he understands the DNA, the structure of the club, how it runs, how it works. Like he said then, he's you know, so infectious in the dressing room, and you can't. It's invaluable. You can't put a price on that. And the way you know, he was dry. I was fortunate to share the dressing room with him for a couple of years, and in training, the way he drives his standards, and you know, he commands respect from the players. Respect him so much, and yeah, he's pivotal to what Man United is all about.
It's really interesting to me that you're probably one of the last touchstones for this first team squad. You know, you're thinking about that Sir Alex Ferguson era, or you know, maybe a little bit later on. That to have that inside the squad, and Johnny was certainly one of those when he was here, is vitally important, isn't it, for the youngsters to maybe understand where the club has come from, and as well as where they're heading to.
No, it's massively important, and I obviously I appreciate both of your sentiments and fully understand it. I think you're dead right. Phil was understood that, and a big part of that, Johnny certainly, about the values of the football club, the standards, the demands. And I think it was important that, you know, we continue that on. Of course, it evolves. You know, where we're at and where we want to go. It's important that we involve with that without losing the fundamental idea of what the football club's about and why it means so much to so many people. So yeah, if I'm a small part of that, that's fantastic. I think from my point of view, you know, that's a side of it that I certainly try and do. But first and foremost, I think that the focus has to be on being a player. Like, I think you can't be a Man United player under any circumstances without fulfilling that playing role. So that's always the priority in my eyes, making sure that I'm doing the work on the grass. Not played many games, you know, in the last few years. However, it's important to be ready. And I think first and foremost, without that, the rest of the stuff's irrelevant, really. So that's the starting point. And you are right in what you say. You try and fulfil that role and certainly guide and help and support some of the younger ones and some of the older ones as well. You know, with what and how Man United should be, of course, from my point of view and what I grew up with. But it becomes ingrained in you.
That's just about it for Inside Carrington in 2025. We've had some brilliant guests, and there's even more incredible guests on the way in 2026. So make sure you have liked and subscribed wherever you get your podcasts from. All that's left for me to say is that I hope you have a fantastic new year and a brilliant 2026.